So I get to bring Angelo, um, is Munsel, right?
Close. It's Munsel, but it's perfect. Don't worry.
Okay. And who nominated you for the event?
Well, I was informed about it through a friend of mine, Birgit Gusjakob, who's we met 30 plus years ago in the Bay Area when I was a student there. And she told me about this event because of my background, and she said it could be very interesting. And she said contact through Brian and to say hi to Brian and hi to Ken, I think it was. So I'm bringing her
Okay.
regards to everybody.
Very nice. Very nice. What branch did you serve in?
Well, I started off with the Army, but actually in '74 I took the test to join the Navy. Um, I passed the test and I was given an option to go to the Great Lakes to school, and I was told I had to serve 6 years in the military. That was in '74. I said to myself, there's no way I'm going to do 6 years in the military. I just want to do a few years and get out and do something else. So when I retired from all the branches of service that I did in 2009, I looked back and said, what is it that I said in '74? So yes, I went from the Army, 7 years in the Army, then I went to Air Force Reserve, and I stayed with the Air Force Reserve. I was a combat medic in the Army. I was an Aerovac technician for the Air Force. And in '92, I passed into the individual mobilization augmentee group of the retired reserves, or the reserves itself first, and then the retired reserves. And I kept on working in a different way. The I never stopped working close to the military because around 2004, I actually, as a reservist, I joined with an organization that has given me so much, and I think is such an important organization. It's the American Battle Monuments Commission. And I don't know if too many people know about them because a lot of what they do is overseas. So I had the honor of serving in the American Cemetery in Florence, the American Cemetery in Paris, the American Cemetery on the Somme battlefield, and in Brookwood in the United Kingdom. There is, us veterans can talk and tell stories, but those buried, and they have a lot of stories to tell, but too often they're forgotten or their stories are lost. And General Pershing said it best when he said, "Time will not dim the glory of their deeds." And that was what the ABMC was about, is commemorating the men and women that served. Now, granted, Memorial Day would be the day for that, but every day is a day to commemorate a veteran. It doesn't have to only be on the 11th of November, which is the day of the armistice. The We did a lot of work internationally, diplomatically. To think that in 2014, one of my events for the ABMC, we invited many people there in Paris, and amongst the people that came was the military attaché from Vietnam, who laid a wreath for the American soldiers. And it's a gesture of peace because that's what we do. We want to maintain peace. If we have to, we will do everything to achieve it. But the best world is a peaceful world. And I served throughout a moment of peace. And we tell the story of the men and women. And we tell them also without animosity, because like World War One, 11 November, World War Two, 8 May, we tell the story to anybody and everybody with sensitivity. You don't want to offend people. And when you have German visitors, for example, and you tell them the story about what happened, uh, a lot of German soldiers were, families lost loved ones as well. No family should have to bury their children, and that's what happens, unfortunately, in war. So our job was to tell the story, to reach out to these people, to reach out to tourists, and to make people aware. One of the things that makes me smile is often here. I'm in Rome right now, but in Pistoia, there's a Brazilian cemetery. And a lot of people don't know that Brazilians sent 35,000 soldiers to assist the US Army in World War II while forces were being deployed from Italy up back into England to go into Normandy. So the Brazilians were very important for us. to assist with what we were going to be doing in Normandy. Um, and these are telling stories about, again, men and women that served. There could be lots of stories. What has touched me the most is being able to tell stories of in documents and documentaries, sorry, about the 92nd Infantry Division or the Japanese American soldiers, the 442nd, and to participate in documentaries. The the life on the cemetery, you hear stories about, well, aren't you scared of being by yourself on the grounds? I said, no, I'm never by myself. I'm surrounded by 4,000 soldiers or 800 soldiers. Well, there could be ghosts. And I said, well, there'd be good ghosts because they died for our freedom. And they gave their life, the ultimate sacrifice for us. And that's why we have to tell a story. And one of the stories I'm working on now and is trying to set up is with an English artist, Andy de Koyman, who's been selected again for another monument at the National Arboretum. He's done the one for Execution at Dawn, the Miners Memorial, and he's working on a Parliamentary Memorial. We're trying to work on one called Through the Void. It is to do a statue for the Gold Star mothers, of an African American Gold Star mother and a white Gold Star mother. Why do I put it this way? Because of the history itself in 1930, because of the segregation that there was. They were united in grief, but divided because of what we were going through at the time. And the beauty is that we can change, by the way. But the statue, we'd like to be able to do two, one at Portsmouth in the UK and one at Battery Park in New York, where the ship sailed from or where they arrived, and to tell the story about the Gold Star mothers. And by telling their story, telling the stories of their children, their loved ones, their husbands, their sons, their daughters. So there's a lot to do, and we're trying to raise awareness. And it's something that we had started back in 2021 with the Imperial War Museum in London, and we got to the final selection, but we lost. But we decided that we would go on with this. We wouldn't stop because the stories have to be told and things need to be done. And so that's what I'm working on right now. Happily retired, but still working. And we'll see where it all goes.
Yeah. And I appreciate you telling us, giving us a little history, because I did not know that the Brazilians sent a regiment to serve with us. And once again, thank you, because a lot of times history does not surface on the national stage. And this is the reason why we have to listen to veterans, because they will tell you things that you do not know. And it will truly impact your life because you're like, oh, okay, now I know that there was a Brazilian regiment that actually served with us. And then you tell that story to other veterans and other people, and then their legacy grows. So truly appreciate it, Angelo, and looking forward to hearing good, better, and great things from you as well. So,
Working on it.
yep. And with you being over in Rome, when I grow up, I want to be like you. I want to be able to make sure I get there. But
You're always welcome. The house is empty right now. We just got a house. We moved, so we're still trying to set it up. And what you
okay.
see behind me is a 48-star flag, by the way. That is my father's flag.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Very nice.
he served. I come from a family who served. My grandfather was graduate of the academy. He was Italian, though. He was a graduate of the Italian War Academy, so he served in World War One. My father did Merchant Marine in World War II and then became an AFN broadcaster. And at the end of the war, met my mother in the studios because she was doing British Hour. Um, my uncle did Korea, my brother Vietnam, myself Desert Storm, the first one. And it's just something to give back. And people asked about what patriotism is and all that. And I've heard all the expressions. You can go and read books and try to understand and give all kinds of explanation. But one that touches me most is is that when you hear a national anthem and you get the goosebumps and you're part of something that's bigger than you. And that's being part of what being a brotherhood of the military. I use the word brotherhood because we're brothers in arms, as Henry V or Fourth, whatever it was, said it in the same Christmas speech.
And so how do we reach you? How do people contact you?
Well, easily enough through my email. It's a.munsel@hotmail.com.
Okay.
And if anybody wants information of what we're doing with the statues and the work that we're doing, I can send them some information. We're going to try to do some funding because it's not easy to get the marble and do everything and get the approvals. But working with the cities and trying to get information. If it can't be in Portsmouth in England, then we try to do it in Liverpool, but talking with the city hall and the mayors and try to see what we can do because I think there is some kind of connection between the two, and it's just interesting from many points that again, it sounds like I'm trying to get into politics. I'm not. It's about the fact that we were in a country that used to be segregated, seriously segregated, and we were working in a country, England, that wasn't. And
Yep.
that caused some interesting conflicts. But to come up with this statue idea and bring out awareness, but also to tell the story and the sacrifice of these people that were involved. I mean, even the mothers. We have to don't forget that soldiers have mothers.
Yep. And it's all about family. And once
It
again,
sure is.
we definitely appreciate your time and thank you for the story. The history lesson, not the story, but the history lesson so that we can actually pass it along.
But I
And
would like to say one thing. If you guys get a chance, if ever you're in Europe, do go and visit the ABMC sites, the cemeteries. They're magnificent. It's just not the white stones and the green grass. It's the story of the men and women that are there and the care that's given to by the people that work there.
because that sometime next year or the year after, I will definitely be over in that area and would love to connect with you and learn a little bit more history from you as well.
Look, we can all teach each other. That's the way I look
This
at
is
it.
true.
Take
So,
care. Thank you. You guys have a great Veterans Day, and I salute all of you who served and keep on serving. Thank you.
and thank you as well. And you have a fantastic Veterans Day.
Evening now.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye now.